Hello! So today we are taking a look at the Cessna 408 Sky Courier in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We're on the ground at Lugano in the south of Switzerland. So if we go and have a look around the aircraft on the ground here, we'll have a quick look around it and then we'll take it for a flight. So you can see it's really nicely modelled. I'm impressed with this one. I think it's made by Carenado. So I know Carenado have their critics because they seem to strike a balance between realistic visuals and an accessible flight model. So I actually agree with their approach because we don't always want to be tested on everything we know. Sometimes we just want to go and have some fun flying around. And the Carenado aircraft seem to pitch it, in my mind, just about right. So the mass audience can have fun with the aircraft without feeling like they're being tested all the time. Okay, so you can see the material modelling is absolutely wonderful. The resolution of the textures and the quality of the 3D structures is very, very good. So you can see all the covers around the aircraft. So we'll go and do the walk around in a moment and remove all of those. We've got the chocks there as well. So the aircraft comes in several variants. There's a cargo variant. This is the passenger variant. I think there are some specialist variants as well for things like Medivac. So yeah, it's going to be good fun to go play with. So you can see there's a huge door on the side of the aircraft here. So let's go and have a look in detail at some of the structures. So yeah, you can see it's really, really nicely done. So the closer you get, the more you appreciate the work that's gone into it. So, should we have a look around inside as well? So if we pop through the window, the internal of the cabin has been done in a similarly high resolution. It's absolutely ridiculous, really. The level of detail that's gone into these aeroplanes, they look almost photographic. So if people were wondering what Carenado have been up to for the last however many months, well, they've been very quiet, then this is your answer. They've been working on all of these new aeroplanes for Flight Simulator. And don't underestimate how much work is required to build this sort of thing to this level of quality. This is pretty spectacular. It looks almost photographic, doesn't it? So let's go and jump through the wall of the aeroplane with the drone camera. And we will press Shift and X. And then we'll press Shift and C to put ourselves in walk around mode. So we'll walk around away from the aeroplane. So let's go and remove some of these assets from around the aeroplane. So we've got the pitot heat there. Pitot covers. Got the engine covers have already gone. So I think the one click did all of the covers in one go. So we don't have to laboriously go. Oh no, it didn't get the sensors on the wings. Let's go and, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go and click on the sensor there. And we'll walk back around. This is very clever, isn't it? I really like the walk around view in 2024. It's good. So then you just click on the door handle if you get close enough to it, and that puts you back in the aeroplane. So, how do we get this thing started up? Let's have a little look around the instruments just before we get started then. So we've got the autopilot panel at the top of or just underneath the glare screen there. You've got a standby attitude indicator. You've got 3 screens. It's a G1000 NXI, I think, the system. So we pop the yoke off to have a look down here. We've got electrical controls. We've got the starter controls, fuel transfer, fuel boost. Fuel boost is needed for ignition. So then you've got the ice protection and arming of the ignition. You've got windshield heat, prop heat, wing stabilator heat, overspeed test, inertial separators, stall warnings. You've got the control. This actually works to control the screens as well as obviously the primary controls on the screens. You've got all the lighting controls and knobs for the brightnesses of the internal lights, and you've got the quadrant, obviously. So you've got fuel condition, propeller, and power in common with all the other turboprops. So should we go and have a play with it and see how we get on? So first things first, we're going to go and test my memory basically. So I have no script to follow here. There is a checklist built into the airplane. You can go and follow the checklist. So you can see the screens all power up, and we can fire that up. And you get a list of messages or enunciations on the screen. So we'll go and first of all, well, let's get the engines started and then we can deal with everything else. So before starting engines, we probably want to go and put the nav lights on. So nav, notice you have nav and nav beacon, so we'll put nav on to begin with. We'll go to beacon when we are about to start the engines, although you could say we're about to, so we'll do it. Sorry for the indecision. Seatbelt signs can go on. Okay. So we can arm the ignition for the right engine. So if you keep an eye on NG over here, we're now going to hit the starter for the right engine, and you can see NG increase. We're going to go and put the booster on for the right engine, and when this gets above 12, we're going to advance the fuel condition lever for the right engine. Then we're going to go and look outside. Look at the heat pouring out. And notice the heat is being modelled as actual molecules, so they flow over the wing. The animations are great, aren't they? Some of the best animations I think I've seen in the simulator. Okay, so once the engine is up and running, we can turn the starter off. We can put the generator on. And we'll do the same again now for the left engine. So auto ignition, left starter, left boost. The boost can come off again on the right engine there, by the way. So we're watching the NG to wait for it to come above 12. And we can advance then the fuel condition. Should we go and watch it outside? It's quite good fun to watch. So you really can see that animation happening there, look, with like the molecules of air flying out of the exhaust. It's really, really nicely done. Okay, so once the engine's up and running, we'll go and turn the ignition off, or the starter off, sorry. Put the generator on, and the boost can come off. You get lots of cautions while you're doing all of this. So, what else can we do then? Let's go and have a look around. So I'm just wondering about the bleed air and where the various switches. I'm not. Oh, here we go. Bleed air's on the other side of the cockpit. So we'll put bleed air on. The auto feather switch is here. So we advance it to arm. We'll put the pitot heat on. Normally you wouldn't do it until you get to the runway, but I don't think it's going to harm anything. As I said, it's a Carenado. It's not going to go too mad about us doing things out of order. We should have had the propellers on high. So we'll see them increase in speed probably. It's not going to make too much difference until we advance. So you'll see the numbers pick up now. It's very cool, isn't it? So let's go and exercise the flaps to see how they look. So you have 3 positions on the flaps. We'll go for the first position for takeoff. Okay, so the external power light will go out as soon as we move away from the parking area. There's no switch to remove that. So let's just sit up. You could argue that we could taxi around on the lower fuel condition on ground idle, it doesn't make a lot of difference. So I'm going to turn the propeller speed down a bit, just for taxiing. Because it does tend to run away like a runaway train. There's a glider. It's unusual. I need to have a fly of this thing. So there's not a breath of wind here. Now, is that because I've got no weather switched on? It probably is. Let's go and see what the live weather's like, shall we? No, it is. It's live weather. It's just there isn't much weather about today. Okay. So we'll take off to the north, because it makes it a little bit more interesting. So I'm just going to backtrack slightly on the runway. Should we actually follow the markings for a change? Although the turning circle on this isn't the greatest, so you need to be a little bit careful about leaving yourself room to turn. Yeah, we're only just going to make this look. Okay, so we're lined up for takeoff. Runway 01 at Lugano. I'm just going to go, before we set off, and go and run open track so we can turn on head tracking. So that makes it a bit more interesting for you, so you can see around the aeroplane more easily. So let's go and advance those control levers, propellers to maximum speed. The landing lights are now on. Anti-collision lights on. And we're away. Notice how quickly it can take off. That is a steep climb out, isn't it? It's a very, very nimble aircraft. Perfect for its mission, basically, which is getting into and out of tight places. Very, very cool. So obviously in the sunshine we're getting the propellers reflecting across the dashboard. Okay, let's come off the power a little bit and just circle round. Beautiful part of the world around here, isn't it? So there's the airfield. So So should we try the autopilot out? So I'm going to go and engage the autopilot, so you can see it's come on down here. And to do this, I'm going to go and turn head tracking back off. And we'll make ourselves lower in the cockpit so you can see the modes easily while I'm doing this. So we'll go and set our target altitude for 4,000 or no, 3,000 feet. Yep, so we'll go 1,000 feet lower than we are. And we'll go vertical speed mode, and we'll go down. They've got this reversed, by the way. So yeah, small bug, but something I need to fix. So we're coming down at 1,000 feet a minute down to 3,000 feet, so you can see that's actively happening. The airspeed is picking up, so we're going to come back off the power to counter that. We can press both left and right mouse buttons on the controls. Carenado seem to have followed this with most of their aeroplanes in the sim. When you have controls where left-clicking the middle would have activated them in the past, so to push them now, you press left and right. And so, for example, I can pull the heading bug in there and then go to heading mode, so I'm not just in pitch and roll hold now. I'm in full control of the aeroplane. So, obviously we haven't got a route programmed in, but it's the normal G1000, so you can press the flight plan button and you can, again, press both buttons on the FMS, and then you get the focus and it works like normal. So I'm not going to go into programming a route today. Let's have a go. Let's have a little look at VOR navigation just to make it sure it works. So we've got the Serrano VOR 11370. So here's the nav frequencies up here. So 11370. Switch that to. Interesting. Is that a bug? We can't switch the frequencies. Maybe we can't while this is in GPS mode. Oh no, I'm just being silly, sorry. Plus nav 2. 11370. No, we can't change it to active. Oh my word. Okay, so you're not doing any VOR navigation in this initial release of the aeroplane. That's a slight misstep from the developer. And you saw it live on the channel here. How do I always find these things when I'm trying to show things? Anyway, we can stick in heading mode, it's fine. So if we go and fly around the lake here, so let's go and turn the autopilot back off. Go back to manual control. So let's go and turn head tracking back on. For some reason the default head position is, well, I think half of it is the open track is the problem. When you rotate your head, it also moves your head, and it shouldn't. So it ends up putting your head into doing that. It moves your head backwards, which is really frustrating. So you end up having to lean forwards and look left to counter it. Which is super frustrating. So we're going to fly back up the valley, take it into the airport, and hopefully perform a nice landing. I wonder if that bug exists on both screens. Yes, it does. Ah, have they done the trick with both buttons? No. Okay, so we can see the airfield coming back up. So we need to descend. Let's come off the power. So let's find out how quickly we can descend. So we're on full flaps. So I'm just watching the indicated airspeed there. We've pulled the throttle and the propeller speed right back. We're saying that we can increase the propeller speed, it shouldn't hurt us. So we can come down at about 2,000 feet a minute then. Interesting. So I'm going to come down a little bit earlier than I need to, so then I can level out and lose some of this altitude and speed before we get there. There we go, look, speed's now coming off, now we've leveled out. So then we keep an eye on the PAPI lights. It's very docile to fly. Very, very easy. It's very predictable, I guess that's the word you would use. Here comes the PAPIs. So it should be a slightly steeper approach here at
500.
Lugano. I think it's about a 7 degree on the chart. Well, it might be 5 degree, I can't remember. I'd have to go and have a look.
400. 300. 200.
It's funny, isn't it? There's all this wonderful scenery, but when you're actually flying, all you're focusing on are the primary instruments.
100.
Kind of doing your scan and where you are in space. So obviously we've overrun the markers a little bit, but we're down. It does have reversers. I haven't got them mapped yet, so I'm just going to use wheel brakes, which are quite strong. Look, you can see it's slowing down quite rapidly. So if we taxi out, what's over here? Some sheds for the fire engines by the look of it. Okay, so we're going to backtrack. We're going to try and turn in the runway width. Did it quite easily in the end. What on earth is that doing here? It's an MD-11, isn't it? He's going to have trouble getting off the runway here, that's for certain. We won't worry about him. He can find his own way out of here. That always does amuse me though, when the simulator puts the wrong aeroplane on a stand. And it makes no sense. It's quite comical. So let's have a look at this from outside, just to get the full comedy of the situation. So I'm just going to turn open track back off. Hopefully they'll fix Tobii soon, or Asobo will fix their issues with Tobii. And then we won't have to deal with open track. But it's a good workaround for the moment. Oh, it's an MD-10, sorry, not an MD-11. And of course the van is going to go head to head with us. Of course it is. Some things never change. Maybe we'll just creep forwards through the van and stop the aeroplane. Oh no, he's actually going to stop now to make sure that he's going to be overlapping us. Great, thank you very much. So, parking brake on, back inside the aeroplane. We can obviously just go and turn the things off. So to shut the engines down, we just kill the fuel. Go and turn the auto ignition off. Turn all the switches off that we had on previously, basically. The generators can come off. We're going to get warnings galore over here, so don't worry too much. Lights can come off. Seatbelt signs can come back off. Yes, I know. And then turn the power off. Oh, I've gone too far with the power. Oh no, that is the offset. Sorry. I thought I'd gone to the left-hand setting on it. So there you go. It's really good, isn't it? So obviously we can undo the door and push it open, hopefully. Or not. How do we do that then? Has it got locks? Or we just press Shift C, I guess. And that gets us out of the aeroplane. So there we go, that's the Cessna 408 Sky Courier in Flight Simulator 2024. Very easy to fly. There's a couple of little bugs in it, but nothing serious. And it's great fun. If you're flying on GPS, you know, it's an absolute dream. You can program the route into the G1000 as per normal, or you can bring it in from the map screen or from the tablet. So you've got the tablet here, obviously, that allows you to go and do flight planning. So yeah. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed that. See you again soon.